Hey, everybody, how's it going? So it looks like there was a crazy incident during Tim Pool's podcast taping. I guess this wasn't live. I don't know if there's video of this or not, or if he'll even release the video. But apparently, a man shoved liberal commentator Brian Shapiro during Tim Pool's podcast taping. How do you think the left is going to react to this? The left is going to pretend like this happens all of the time with zero proof. And then, of course, they're going to sit there and say how awful it was, even though they've done it 10 million times. For every one time a right-wing person does something violent, there's like 10,000 incidents of a left-wing person doing the same thing, but they don't care. And I'm here to show you. I'm just going to be here to give you guys the black pill on this situation, because at the end of the day, the left will always defend their violence. Always, always, always. So, a man shoved liberal commentator Brian Shapiro in the face during a live taping of Tim Pool's Culture War podcast on Saturday evening, prompting security to remove the assailant and bar him from future events. Pool condemned the assault, stressing that the show promotes debate over physical confrontations. While Shapiro identified the attacker as self-proclaimed Antifa confronter and called him a fraud, the incident drew mixed reactions on X, highlighting tensions in political discourse without injuries or announced charges. Okay, I'll get to Tim Pool's part, but look at this guy down here instantly. You know, a liberal was sucker punched. Someone grabbing you on the front of your face, that's not a sucker punch. It has to be behind. You got to know what your definitions. A sucker punch is whenever you hit somebody without them realizing it, that it's going to happen at all, without them visually being able to see it at all. It's genuinely something that takes you by such surprise. It's usually in the back of the head or something. Usually. Or from the side, or from something. You know, usually you're out of sight from the person. A typical sucker punch is going to be like someone standing behind you while someone else is standing in front of you. You're arguing with that person in front, and the guy behind you just starts going in on it. You have no way of knowing what's going to happen. So this guy is automatically just... This is what leftists do. They just lie. They lie about what happened. When it happens in front of your face, it's not a sucker punch. I mean, technically speaking, there are ways to where it can be, but nobody was even punched. That's the funny thing about it. But the left is going to blow this out of proportion. They're going to take this just like January 6th, and this is exactly how it'll be. For some reason, all the people who actually incited the most amount of right-wing people to do quote-unquote wrong, you know, like walk through the Capitol, those people will get arrested. But for some reason, all the people who are inciting it will not. That's your Nick Fuentes and Ray Epps. It's kind of interesting how that works. Both those guys screaming in bullhorns to go into the Capitol and do stuff, they are just fine. But then you get like Owen Schroyer, who's telling people, hey, don't go into the Capitol. Don't be violent. Don't break stuff. And he gets arrested. You get all the old people who are just walking through the Capitol getting arrested. None of the violent people, to my knowledge, I mean, maybe a couple of them, but none of the violent ones were arrested. Why is that? Why were so few of the violent people on January 6th arrested? And yet so many innocent people arrested instead. Isn't that just a little bit weird? Well, it's kind of how the left operates. Anyway, so he's saying, at a debate for speaking his mind. Yeah, you know, I wonder what he said about Charlie Kirk. We're going to look. The deranged right gets violent over simple conversation. This is what they want you to do. Glad you're okay at PTL radio show host. I mean, it's completely and totally insane to even suggest this. But I am going to find out what he said about Charlie Kirk. I just wonder. Charlie Kirk, producer, gets fact check on political violence. Okay, so there we go. Sig Sauer released Freedom Series. Okay. This is terrifying end of radicalization pipeline. A boy goes from posting about baseball, consuming Andrew Tate and Charlie Kirk. Years later, he stalks and ends two teenage... Okay, so he's not even talking about that. Let's go to, this one right here. Everyone's debating the ideology of Charlie Kirk's ender, but they're missing the point. He had memes on his bullets. This isn't... Yeah, so, you know, this isn't about left or right. It's about the broader pattern of young men being radicalized. Oh, okay. So when your side does it, it's just not about... It's not about left or right. It's about just... We need to stop violence in general. But then, whenever somebody gets shoved, when someone gets shoved in the face, right? It's, oh, okay. So just get rid of what I was on. That's super cool. Okay, now my original, oh, weird. I don't know how that happened. Anyway, A liberal was sucker punched. This is what the right gets violent. None of those things happened. Everything he said right here was a lie. Nobody was sucker punched. The right didn't just get violent out of nowhere for simple conversation. This guy did clearly get way too angry. Did something he shouldn't have done at all. You should never put your hands on anybody ever. It's unacceptable. I'm glad he's permanently banned. He probably needs to be out of the public permanently, in my opinion. You get one chance to not be violent. But at the end of the day, to act like that this was something that this guy just absolutely horrendously harmed the other person is such a far stretch. It's time to grow up. It's time to stop listening to the left. Because it's a bunch of toddlers. That's what they are. It's, oh, he's touching me. And then they, after that, after the parent goes, hey, don't touch your brother or whatever, then the brother just starts wailing on the other one. Then you got to get onto him. And for some reason, they don't understand. And I can tell you this from having 2 little girls. That's exactly how it happens. One's mad. Oh, she's poking me. I'm not poking you, And then the other one starts wailing after you get onto him because for some reason, as soon as you get onto the other, it empowers the other sibling to start in. And you got to be like, no. And then they don't understand. They're like, well, she was doing it first. It's like, no, it's your sister. You know what I mean? And then, they start understanding, oh, yeah, we're both, no matter the circumstances, are not allowed to be hitting each other. And it's like, yeah. And then they start realizing that. And as a literal 5-year-old and 3-year-old, they understand the principle better than this dumb kid right here. It's disgusting. How is it that my kids understand not to put hands on each other better than Adam Mockler here? It's crazy. Again, when it happens to me, it's the end of the world. When I do it to somebody else, oh, well, it's just, or not when I do it to someone else. I'm not saying that he did it to someone else. What I'm saying is when his side does it, it's all of a sudden not about politics. It's amazing how that works, isn't it? So, addressing the reported assault today is taping a culture war. It is unacceptable in any way to put your hands on our talent, guests, and friends. According to staff, a man approached the radio show and put his hand on his face and shoved him over comments Brian had made during the show. No one should ever be assaulted over their political views, and we will not tolerate it ever. The purpose of the culture war was to bring different views together, to rag on each other and laugh about it. We leave shaking hands trying to understand each other better. People with ill intent, people who cannot handle the debate should not come, and the individual in question was removed and barred from future events. Our security team acted swiftly and de-escalated the situation. We expect more shows in the future and expect people to behave appropriately. Absolutely. So then Tim goes, I'm not pretending the apocalypse happened. No one was injured. The point is to address it and make sure it's clear we do not tolerate this kind of behavior. And yet, it's just, but you want civil war. Why? No, he doesn't want civil war. He's never once said that. He talks about the looming civil war because people won't calm down. It's just unbelievable. So this is just the way the left is. I guarantee you, this guy right here is a leftist. Willing to bet. Joe Rogan is slowly starting to resemble onboard computer and Red Door. Okay. Yeah, retweeting Destiny, of course. You could just always tell because it's like the left will always say something that never, ever, ever happened in a million years. Super easy to tell. When they bring something up that just doesn't make sense, it's like, what are you talking about? Tim Pool wants civil war. Since when? It's going to be the left coming out and saying stuff like that. I'm just done. How in the world are these people? How do they still have any type of following whatsoever? If the entire world was forced to create an X account, I guarantee you, every one of them would go Republican. Every one of them. Look at this. Come on, Tim. You violent artards, yeah, we'll never get it. You are the problem, Tim. You and your race-baiting fat, all that good stuff. Bad guy from World War II wannabe cult incel followers. Oh, say hi to Vlad for me, too. Everyone knows you're bought by a effing... Yeah, and I guarantee you this guy has no kids. He's got no wife. He lives in his parents' basement. And these are the type of people who come up and insult us. Genuinely, who has more kids? Conservatives or liberals? Which one's involuntarily celibate? Genuine question there. Well, you can just look at any graph and find out. Republicans have more kids. Therefore, Republicans do it more. Just a fact. So, whatever. Anyway, this might be the first time you've condemned violence. What is this person talking about? Guys, seriously. The left has lost their mind completely and totally. What do you guys think, though? Comment down in the comment section below. Thank you all so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, and share. Join my Discord down in the description below as well, and I'll see you guys here in the next one. Later.